You know, a while ago I uploaded a video on my top 5 Sonic characters? And so it was that everyone stopped watching the video, and it got 0 views because Patter the Natter chose the worst way to begin it. If you saw that video, then you may recall that Tails was on there. I myself actually don't remember where on the list he was. I try to forget that I made a top 5 Sonic characters video, but I do know that he was on there.
Well, despite the video's premise, most people really didn't think it was that bad at all.
Maybe, but if you don't acknowledge it, they can't hurt me. Anyways, Tails has always been my boy. In almost every adaptation of Sonic, be it games, TV shows, or comics, he's always been pretty likable to me. Sure, a lot of people complain about his dialogue being overly childish, or that half the time he sounds like a 5-year-old girl, and the other half he sounds like, well, a 5-year-old boy, which, as you can see in Sonic Adventure, really isn't that good either.
What's Amy doing here? Doesn't matter. I have to help Amy because she's in danger.
Anyways, sure, he's got his flaws, but I always found him relatable, or at least more relatable than Snock Gotta Go Fastly. I grew up playing the 3D Sonic games like Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Colors. In those games, Tails is always a side character who would support Sonic and give an occasional tutorial. He's helpful in that manner, for sure, but he never got to go on an adventure of his own in those games. I always felt like he got the short end of the stick, Snock running around at the speed of sound, beating baddies and being the blue blur, and if he can say that 5 times fast, then I don't know, your crops will meet with fine weather this year. Anyways, Tails never got his own adventure, and for someone with the ability to fly, it seemed like he was full of potential, and that was about it. Long story short, I always wanted Tails to have his own spin-off game, and it wasn't long until I discovered one. Tails Adventure for the Sega Game Gear. You may notice I'm not holding anything, as I actually don't have a Game Gear or the game itself. That's very observant of you. Thankfully, you know what they say, you don't need money to buy things when you have the emulators, because those are free.
I actually say that a lot.
Tails Adventure. Once upon a time, Tails was asleep for about 20 seconds when all of a sudden, a submarine came flying through the sky, and then vanished, and then everything was in flames, and oh no! Better run back and forth. What will we do? Oh. I guess it doesn't matter, because we're on the cute-looking map with cheery music. So, the story from what I can tell is, Tails found this island and called it Tails Island. Pretty creative, and the place gets invaded by some kind of bird army. Funny part is the Japanese version says that it's a battle cuckoo army that is invading the island, whatever the heck that means. But the English version just says an army of birds, because, let's be honest, us Americans are kind of dense. The Japanese version also says that it takes place before Tails met Sonic. Well, the English version just says that they are best of friends. Notice, not best friends for some reason, and they're taking a vacation. Which one is canon? Did Tails know Sonic or didn't he? Is this a prequel or a sequel? Will we ever know the chronological order of the games? Does anyone really care? Was Sonic 06 an inside job? Why do I still have the furry art from my furry video? Tails Avengers! Let's go to Tails' house. How do I go to... I don't know the buttons. So I'm guessing this is a password screen. I'm a real Sonic hacker now. Hey, look at that! Tails can climb! That's amazing, he's already way ahead of Sonic. This is... oh, this is functional. Fast-paced scenic gameplay. Now, when I first played this game, I was under the impression that Tails was maybe 5 years old or something. He just kind of waddles around and Sonic is nowhere to be seen, so I assumed that this was before he met Sonic. Plus, you can complete Sonic 3 just using Tails the whole time, which was definitely not how I beat the game. I mean, that would be kind of scummy of me. Hey, everybody did it, okay? Tails is competent in that game, but in this one you need a lot of gadgets and items, more like a Zelda game to progress and kill enemies, which, again, would lead me to believe that this takes place in the past. So, if you were wondering about the chronological order, I'm not sure why we went back to this subject, but I'm just gonna believe that he's like 5 and is waddling around, because he can hardly walk or something, and it's kind of adorable. So what kind of items do you get in Tails Adventure? Well, you get pretty simple stuff like explosives, drones. Yeah, that's pretty impressive, actually. And then you get Sonic's head. And Fang. They don't do anything, as far as I know, although this is pretty gruesome. Maybe this actually takes place after all the Sonic games, and Tails just kind of turned on Sonic and decapitated his head. So that's the game. Waddle around, find an item, solve a puzzle, and fight the occasional boss. Oh, and also turn your drone dog into a submarine and fly the submarine into the sky. As a possible 5-year-old. Volcanic Tunnel. No. Game? No. Ha! We're just going We just... And this time... Okay. I got nothing to say here, we're going. Tails, you brought that upon yourself! That's good. Having no health is very good. What is this? What do we have here? Chaos Emerald! Yes, very standard gadget that I find often. As I said, it was kinda like a Zelda game, but it reminded me more of a Metroid clone. A 2D platformer with power-ups that allows you to gain access to different areas. It's pretty slow-paced, but yeah, it's pretty much just a Metroid. And judging from how often Sega has copied Nintendo, I'm gonna guess this was intentional. And once again, Peter has nailed one of his favorite video game companies with copying Nintendo. Tune in next time when I blame Star Fox for copying Star Wars, even though Star Fox is pretty much my favorite video game series of all time. I'm stupid like that. Now, I love Metroid games just as much as the next person. In fact, Metroid Prime is easily one of my top 5 favorite games of all time, but I did have one gripe with it, and with most Metroid games, and that is the backtracking. For those of you who don't know what backtracking is, you're such an innocent, happy person. In video games, backtracking is the act of going to previous areas or levels to reach new areas within those areas or levels, using new items that you've got since you last visited those areas or levels. If none of that made sense, it's kind of like when you go to kill Mother Brian, and then you kill him or her, and so you go home happily ever after to go play some Five Nights at Freddy's. But when you get home, you realize you don't have your computer because you left it at Mother Brian's place, so then you have to go back to get your PC, and then you have to go back home again. It's something like that. Point being, there is a lot of backtracking in this game. Sometimes you have to go back to the same level several times to get an item using a new item that you've gotten since. This wouldn't be such a big deal if this game wasn't so flippin' hard to navigate. Toddler Tails is super slow with all his climbing and hovering and bombing and piloting, and the levels are like mazes, so you get lost very easily or just forget completely whether you've been somewhere before. And on top of that, there's no way to exit stages once you enter them. This means you have to go backtracking within the backtrack to exit each level after you've got what you came for. Does it take a while? Oh, I don't know. It only took me a full 7 hours to play through the whole thing, and that's well consulting a walkthrough the entire time. Oh, and while we're on the topic of Hatters angry with this game, let's talk about equipping. On the main map, you can head over to Tails' house. It's a nice little place where you can refill your health and equip the various items that you've collected. You can only hold 4 at a time when you're in a level, and you can get like 20 or something total, and you'll need each of them at some point. Besides Sonic's head, until you do your satanic ritual to revive Shadow for the 80th time so you can take over the world. So this means you'll have to go into a level, guess which items you need, get 20 minutes into that maze-like stage, find a puzzle that you don't have the right item for, spend another 20 minutes exiting that stage to go and equip the items, get back to the map, go to Tails' house, equip the items, go all the way back to the puzzle, and pray to God that you don't come across another puzzle that you can't solve. I can almost thoroughly guarantee that if I had to find out which items I needed on my own without a walkthrough, I would have been thoroughly zoinked. Zoinked! I don't even know what that means.
So you didn't like the game?
Oh goodness no, I had a walkthrough I could watch. By the way, my sincere condolences to those who first played through this game. Because of you, I was able to make a YouTube video. Very worth it.
So you do like it?
I'm flattered you're so interested in my opinion of the game.
You wrote the script, I kinda have to say this.
Although I'm not sure that I would say that I enjoy the game much anyway.
Wow, you're so complicated and opinionated. Please do explain.
Well, if you insist. So I'm making the game look pretty brutal, but when it's all said and done, it really was not that bad. Tails' Adventure is very slow-paced and clunky. You have to push weird button combos to fly, you have to pause to switch items, and all your attacks make you stop moving to use them. None of that is very fun, but it's an adventure puzzle game on the Game Gear, with only 2 buttons. You can't really blame them. Sure, I got pretty frustrated trying to finish the game, but a big part of that is that when you're making a video, you have limited recording time and only so much energy. I could see playing through this game casually on a handheld could be pretty fun. If you have plenty of time and you know the game pretty well, you could probably backtrack less and figure out the puzzles for yourself with a lot more sanity intact than I had. It's just a slow-paced game that requires a lot of patience, and if you have that, you'll like it just fine. That being said, if I didn't have a save point on my emulator, and I had to put in a 16-digit password every time I started the game like everybody else, I would probably die. Thank you and good night.
Wow, that was so inventive and informative. Another great review from Patty Banani.
That wasn't even in the script.
I know.
Then why is your dialogue so wooden? I mean, cardboard.
Why, you silly dunce, I am cardboard.
Wait, I just made that joke and then you repeated it directly afterwards, but slightly different. Hey, thanks a ton for watching this video. Two things I really want to mention. First off, I'd like to apologize for my voice in this video. I was sick about halfway through making it, and so my voice was not only a little bit cloggy, but also this video took a really long time to get out there, so I appreciate all your patience waiting for different videos. And if you are ever wondering what's taking so long for me to get my videos up, go ahead and check out my Twitter page in the description of this video, and there I post a lot of updates on what videos are coming next and when they should be up, or if there's any delays, things like that. And the second thing I want to talk about is something new I'm trying, and I hope that this goes really well, but I actually played through the entirety of Tales Adventure with face cam and microphone and everything like that. It took a really long time, but it's actually a full playthrough that I'll be uploading after this video goes up. I'm not sure I'll upload full playthroughs, or, well, it's going to be more like highlights or whatever. There's going to be quite a bit of skipping around, because you do not want to know how much backtracking I had to do and redoing and things like that. It was a very frustrating game, so it might be very fun to see me rage through that. If you want to check out the highlights, they'll be uploaded very soon. I'm not sure if I'll do this for every What's Up With video, upload a full playthrough / highlights of whatever, however difficult it was to gain footage for it. But anyways, it's a little something new I'm trying, and I hope that it goes really well. Other than that, of course, don't forget to check out DJ BassFox28, who uploaded this music that you are hearing right now onto his channel, which can be found in the description. He's got tons of other remixes and original music there, so definitely go and check that out. As always, thanks a ton for watching, for your continued support, and have yourselves a wonderful day.